Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Technical Router. Today let us learn about the static keyword. The static keyword has been used for the memory management. It is used for memory management. The static keywords has been used for a memory management, and it can be applied for an variables, methods and blocks, and can be applied for a variables, methods, blocks and the nested classes. It can be applied to variables, methods, blocks and nested classes. The static keywords has been used for an memory management, and it can be applied for an variables, methods and blocks and the nested classes. And it is this static keyword has been belongs to the class rather than the instance of the class. It belongs to the class. It belongs to the class rather than instance of class. It belongs to the class rather than the instance of class, and the static members are faster, and the static members has been loaded to memory when class is loaded. When we create a class, when the class is loaded into memory, and that time only the static member has been loaded into the memory. And the static members can be accessed by the class name dot method name, like that, because these statics are a class specifics. You don't need to create any object for the static keywords. You don't need to create any object for the static keywords. Using the class name dot variable name, class name dot method name, like that we can access the data from one class to another class. You don't need to create any object. It is a class specific. The static keywords are a class specific, and these are faster. And these are faster. It is loaded into memory when a class is loaded. When a class, we are going to create a class, that class has been loaded into memory. On that time only, the static members can be loaded into the memory. The first one is a static variable. The first one is static variables. First is a static variable. In the previous, when I came and explained with the variables topic, on that time only I told about the static variables. The static variables means it will be an outside the method with the static keyword within the class. These variables will be outside the method. This variable has been created or initialized outside the method within the class with static keyword. For example, like this. For example, static int a is equals to 20. In this way, we are going to create a static variable. This static variable will be going to create outside the method. For example, here is one class, the test class, the main method. The static variable we are going to create in the outside the method, not within the class, not within the method. We are going to create an outside the method within the class. Static int a is equals to 20. These are the static variables. These are static variables which are outside the method within the class. And now int b is equals to 20. These are instance variables. These are instance variables. Which are without static keyword within the class. Outside the method means they are in instance variables. With static keyword, if it is there, there are the static variables, and we are going to access these static variables without creating any object. This static keywords has been belongs to the class rather than the instance of the class. That means, and we don't need to create any object for these static variables. By using a class name dot variable name, we can access the data. Now print class name, that is an test dot, the variable name is an a for a static variable. This is enough. We are going to print now. I'm going to get the output 20. See, I got the output 20. We don't need to create any object for the static variables. If it is not a static variable, for instance variable, if we want to access the data, then we have to create an object for a class. Test t is equals to, we know that how to create an object. Now we are going to buy object reference dot a variable, and that is an b. By using this, we are going to access the data. Print it down. S dot p. See. Sorry, I'll give this as an 10. 100. For instance variables, we have to create an object. For in static variables, we don't need to create any object. Now we are discussed about only static, that one. These are about the static variables. The static variables are a class specific. When you are going to create a class, on that time only these are will be loaded into memory. For this reason, we don't need to create any object for this static variables. The next is a static method. The static method can access only and static variables and other static methods. Only static methods, static method. We can access only static methods, the static methods and static variables. Can access only static variables and other static members. Static methods. Going to access only an static members and an static variables, and it belongs to the class rather than the object of this class. Same point. For example, the main method is only an static. For example, static method, public static void m3. Here is one method. And if it is other method, if that method is also on static only, we are going to access the data. If it is not on static method, we can't be able to access the data. See, here on static method is there, int a is equals to 20. We can access here in this also. That is an test dot a. See, we can access and static variables from one method to other method. If it is both the methods are static, if both the methods are static, we can access that by using test dot m3. See, I am going to access this method, the m3 method within the m4 method. If it is only an static method only, we can access this m3 method. If it is not static, if it is not static. If it is not static, it is not, and we are going to get an error. If it is not static in the same class, it is another class. See, if it is an other class, if you are going to access data and from one class to other class, we are going to get an error. If it is static, means yeah, we can access the data from one class to another class. From one method to another method. If it is a static methods only, we are going to access data. And these static methods can't be overridden. These static methods that cannot be overridden. I explain in the when you come for an overridden concept in the oops, I'll explain that. Next is a static block. Next is a static block. This static block has been used to initialize the static variables. This has been used to initialize the static variable, and this static block is executed when a class is loaded into the memory. For example, now see, within this static, we're going to print something. Here I'm going to get static block. This is a static block. Within this braces, what I'm going to create in this here, that is known as a static block. Within that static block, print hello, print a is equals to 5. See, within this block, what are I created? That is only a static. That is only a static block. Within that block, what I am going to create? That is only a static block. These are about the static keywords. First is an static variable, static method, and then is a static block. These are used for a memory management, and we don't need to create an object for the static variables methods or an object. We don't need to create any method because these are the statics are a class specific. It belongs to class rather than the instance of the class. And these don't need to create any object, and these static members has been loaded into memory when a class is loaded. Thank you guys. If you like the teaching, please visit to the channel and please say if I have to improve something, please do comment something. Or if you like the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.